Okay, I'm here with Johnny Gill, the Hippie Cowboy, who is fighting next Friday night at Cage Warriors 165, taking on James Settle. Johnny, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, man. You're obviously out in Georgia at the minute, I believe. How is everything going?
Everything's pretty good. Yeah, out here in Georgia right now. I'll be out in California this coming week for the fight.
So obviously we're just a week out from the fight as we record this. So how are these next few days going to look for you?
The next few days they'll be interesting. It'll just be a lot of, movement and travel and getting out there and getting on weight. Pretty much it.
Yeah, obviously you've done this before, heading over to San Diego for Cage Warriors before, so it's obviously a process you're used to at this point.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely used to it. I also got a lot of family out there in
Yeah.
California, so pretty used to those flights by now.
Yeah, that's good. That means you get some support in the arena, I'm guessing as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Obviously, you're fighting James Settle as we touched on at the top. How familiar are you with him? He's had a couple fights in Cage Warriors, including the last card you were on as well. So, did you guys have any interaction there at all?
I've seen James fight a couple times. I think his last two Cage Warriors fights. I don't really know him too well, but definitely looking forward to fighting him. From what I've heard and from what I've seen, he's a good dude, good guy, and it should be a banger. Looks like a durable guy.
Yeah. So, from what you've seen, what are your thoughts on his skill set?
I think he's pretty good, pretty well rounded. I don't think there's anything that really stands out that's super flashy to me. I'm just looking to, kind of go in there and make it a dog fight.
Of course. He's got quite a big experience edge on you. He's had 9 pro fights. You've just had the two. How confident are you in your ability to limit the effect that that can have in the cage?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I mean, I train with a lot of high level guys, very experienced. He does have the edge when it comes to that, but I feel like I just feel like my skill set will just kind of in my work ethic and all that will kind of outweigh that experience. So nothing I'm really too concerned about.
Yeah. 2-0, 2-0 as a pro, two first round finishes. Obviously, a great wave to be on, but is there part of you thinking that, it would be more beneficial to try and spend a bit more time in the cage to get those reps up, to get that experience up? Because you only had 4 minutes in there as a pro.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. Definitely think that it would be, beneficial to my career long term to, get some more rounds under my belt. It might happen this fight, it might not. I go out there, I'm just looking for ways to finish the fight. If it comes in the first, second, third, if it doesn't come at all, I'm ready to go a minute and I'm ready to go 15 minutes every fight.
Yeah, obviously, as long as these first round finishes are coming, you're not going to say no, are you?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. What does it mean to you to be fighting for Cage Warriors? Because obviously they're growing in the US. They're fairly new in the US still. A lot of good fighters there. But here in the UK, Cage Warriors is like a big deal when it comes to MMA here in the UK. So I guess where does the organization stand in the US right now? What's the perception?
Yeah. For me, it's kind of like, it's a really cool thing, growing up since I was a kid, always watching, being around the sport of MMA, seeing all the guys and legends that have come from Cage Warriors out there in the European scene, and then being able to fight for them here as they're growing in the US is, it's a pretty big deal for me. I feel pretty honored, to be fighting, wearing those yellow gloves. So, it's definitely a cool thing. Definitely kind of was like a fanboy type experience at to start, and just gonna keep riding the wave now.
Yeah. Lots of reasons you stand out. We talked about your finishes there. One of the reasons you stand out, the hippie cowboy. Great
Yes, sir.
nickname. What's the story there?
So one of my coaches, he's, I'm covered in like tattoos, and I was born and raised actually out in Southern California, but I've lived in the South my whole adulthood pretty much. So he used to see me and stuff before we got too close. And I guess he just thought I was a regular kind of hippie kind of kid from Cali. And one day he was out in the parking lot and I'm pulling up to practice, in my big lifted truck. blasting my country music with my cowboy hat on, and you know, he started calling me the hippie cowboy, and it kind of stuck. And this kind of all the teammates and all my friends and family, you know, everybody calls me that now, and yeah, it's a definitely a different nickname.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that like is gonna make you stand out to someone as opposed to, I don't know, Pitbull. We've got a million pit bulls. We've only got one
Right.
hippie cowboy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Obviously we talked about Cage Warriors just then. We haven't had too much integration yet between the US side of Cage Warriors and the UK side. We had Kyle Driscoll come over for title fight. We had a few guys on the New Year's Eve card last year come over from the US to London. Is that something that you'd be looking to do if you keep obviously picking up the wins?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I would love to do. I think that would be pretty cool to get like a solid group of us up and coming prospects from the US fighting out there in Europe and fighting some of the European top prospects. You know, I think that would be a pretty cool thing. You know, definitely looking forward to it. Like you said, just got to keep building this resume, and you know,
Yeah.
hopefully that we can line something up.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a close eye you keep on Cage Warrior shows in the UK, but on the last card, we just had a new bantamweight champion, Liam Gittins. Have you seen him and what are your thoughts on?
Yeah, yeah, I seen him. You know, I thought that was a really good fight. Very, very good fight. I think those guys are very high level. You know, I would like to see a U.S. champ at that weight. You know, I think we're coming. I don't think we're very far behind.
No, especially with obviously a lot of the guys training at MMA Fight Academy and down in San Diego, the kind of focus they've put on that as well. It's only really a matter of time until someone from there, probably one of the US guys. I mean, Anthony Orozco, he's a guy I've talked to before. He's a really good prospect. One of these guys is going to happen probably at some point.
Yeah, yeah, Anthony. Me and Anthony grew up together. We
Yeah.
wrestled together growing up. Went to high school together. So, you know, we're definitely up and coming. You know, it's a pretty tight group here with us US guys. Trained with a lot of them. You know, Anthony, Bobby, Winter. You know, a lot of us. You know, we get together and we train. So I think we all have the same kind of goal in in the near future set for us.
Yeah, and obviously Anthony, great prospect. He's on this card too with you as well. That's good, right? If you guys go back a long way, it's got to be good to have someone like that on the card.
Yeah, definitely, definitely always good.
Yeah. So I've got like a little quick fire section. Some of these are going to be MMA related, but some of them are not. And like we'll put it onto like an Instagram reel or something.
All
Okay.
right.
What does the first hour of your day look like?
First hour of my day, walking my dog, getting some coffee, waking up.
What's a food that you could eat every day?
Food that I could eat every day, probably steak. I feel like you can't go wrong with a good steak.
What's your favorite drink?
Favorite drink might be an unpopular opinion, but my favorite drink is milk.
It's
Yeah.
definitely unpopular to me. I'm lactose intolerant. Um, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Best piece of advice I've ever been given is you have to hate to lose more than you like to win.
What's your favorite TV show?
Stranger Things.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Vision Quest.
What's your favorite video game?
Madden.
Who is your childhood hero?
Uh, my childhood hero is definitely my dad.
And who's your favorite athlete?
Favorite athlete. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to say probably Islam. Big Islam fan.
Yeah. Favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero, Thor.
Favorite musician or band?
Ooh, favorite musician or band. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Luke Combs.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Probably 2 Dozen Roses by Shenandoah,
Favorite place to go on vacation?
California.
What's your favorite submission?
Ooh, favorite submission. Um, like a Darce choke.
Who's the funniest person you've been around in MMA?
Funniest person I've been around in MMA. Ooh, that's a good one. Um, it's a tough one. I'm gonna have to say one of my coaches, Oscar Magana.
And what's your favorite fight of all time?
Favorite fight of all time. Ooh, it wasn't too long ago. It was on a UFC card. It was Chepe Marisol versus Trevor Peek.
Yeah, I
And
remember that one. I remember that.
yeah, they just threw blows the whole time.
Yeah. That's it. That's great. Thanks. Um, just finally, as we wrap up here, give us the hard sell. When yourself, James Settle, strap on those famous yellow gloves and step into the cage next Friday, just a few days away as this interview comes out, what can people expect?
People could definitely expect fireworks, you know. Nobody has really seen me yet as a pro with a full training camp under me. I took the last fight on a week's notice, and I took my first fight on about 2 weeks' notice. So it's definitely going to be a different Johnny Gill, probably the most dangerous Johnny Gill anybody's ever seen. And like I said in the beginning, I know Settle's a durable guy. So I think people are in for a treat. I definitely think it's going to be a banger. Like I said, I come looking for the finish every time, and I'm just going to try to give the people a good show.
Perfect. The people are definitely going to get a good show, I think, with this one. Thanks for taking the time today, Johnny. Best of luck next Friday.
Yeah, thank you.